AfroTales Podcast is a part of the Connected Podcast Network.
Ahoy, my friends. Welcome aboard the AfroTales Podcast. I'm your storyteller, Aman Mazinga. Join me as we explore the tales that grew from the people of indigenous and African descent in the Americas and the Caribbean.
After, come and see me, chef, who will impart upon you a recipe for the story you have just heard.
So with no further ado, let us set sail on this new age of exploration. The Children's Christmas by Alice Moore Dunbar. With the twinkle of joy bells in the air, the redolence of pine and the untasted anticipation of saccharine joys to be, the child steps forward into the full heyday of his prerogatives. For this is childhood's time. It is the commemoration of a child's birth and the gifts brought him. It is a time of peace and gladness, say the children. It is our reign of love and gift giving. Yet the small kings and queens who reign over this carnival of joy are not happy. There are many who have never come into their kingdom at all, to whom the luxury of a real Christmas would be a foretaste of paradise. Did you ever stop to think of this? You, who are pushing and jostling in the shopping crowd, your arms full of expensive toys and your hearts full of cheery cares lest someone be forgotten. We may have a little panorama of your especial benefit, if you don't mind. Julia is in school. She is 7 and as unkempt as school authorities will permit her. She is frequently absent from the morning session. We wondered why until we learned that her mother was most all the time drunk and didn't get up mornings. So Julia slept too, to reduce the necessity of breakfast, and came straggling in the afternoon, half stupid, wholly indifferent. "What will Santa bring you?" asked her nearest neighbor in school during a lively discussion about Christmas. She shrugged her tiny shoulders. "Nothing but another beating, I guess." And the nearest neighbor turned away to tell her closest friend that she had 4 dolls. Now, she didn't want another one just yet. Matilda is in the same school. She is a swarthy, pretty black-eyed Hebrew. Her black locks are cropped short. She wears the uniform of an asylum not far away. Christmas. It is incomprehensible to her. Who was the Christ child? Why keep his birthday? But Santa Claus, she understands. And the gifts that are denied her. Dolls. Why, to possess even the tiniest one would seem too much happiness for a mortal Hebrew maiden. As she heard the other children enumerating their toys, it seemed to her wonderful that they did not unfurl wings, for surely angels are so blessed. Why, if she only had the wee smallest toy, she would never need to speak in school again. So complete would be the measure of her bliss. Florence. Florence is on the other side of the river and too small to be in school. So when it is warm, she plays in the sunshine, which freely attempts to clear the stagnant atmosphere. When the winds nip through from river to river, she seeks shelter in a tenement, dark and fetid and noisy with brawls and drunkenness. Christmas? It means cold weather and shivering in a poor, thin jacket whose warmth was a thing of the past when it fell to her 2 years ago. Toys. Once she actually touched the dress of a gorgeously dressed lady doll, and the memory of it was like wine for weeks. Even now, she regarded that hand in some measure as sacred. Frank stands musingly before a window, resplendent with gold and silver Christmas tree fixings. The poor child gazes hungrily in brilliant windows at holiday time, is a figure that is well nigh threadbare in juvenile fiction. But it is so pitifully, painfully true and ever recurring. He clutches his baby brother's arm and dreamfully wonders if there was ever one person on earth who was rich enough to buy all that. Baby brother grows impatient, for he is whimsical, and Nurse Frank moves away singing hopelessly. It was like longing for ice cream the year around to even dare wish for one toy. Hattie listens to the Christmas talk and the Christmas noise and the fakir's wondrous stream of unchecked gab, and wrinkles her little face painfully. You see, she is almost blind, and subjects are but an indistinct blur to her. Blind at 6, through careless and ignorance, with not a helping hand that will lead her to a dispensary for treatment. She cannot see the wondrous windows. She can only hear and wonder. Who knows if in her groping, mental as well as physical, there does not form a faultedly famed wish for the Christmas present of seeing. These little folks are not imaginary small personages created for Sunday school literature or sentimental dissertations on so-called sociology. They are actual, evident. They're counterparts around us, no matter where we may live. They have been robbed of the most precious birthright that heaven bestows, their childhood, and their annual birth feast is denied them not because the world wishes them ill, but because the world is scarcely cognizant of their existence. And yet, Christmas is the children's time, the day of their rejoicing. Does it seem fair that to the least of them there does not filter some minute molecule of the general happiness, some infinitesimal spangled toy that would never be missed from the more fortunate ones? Does it? Does it? Thank you, my friends, for coming on this voyage. Thanks to Art by Chalet for the logo, episode, and shirt designs. You can get t-shirts and other items on tpublic.com. You can contact me on all socials at AfroTalesCast. That's AfroTales Cast. And email me at AfroTalesCast@gmail.com. You may also become a benefactor by simply sharing with any and everyone, giving a thumbs up, a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice, or simply donating on Patreon or Ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com. So until we meet again, may your winds be fair and your seas follow.